Thank you. I always feel so badly interrupting you all when you're doing your mindful breathing. Okay. Each year at the Ethical Society, we organize our programs around a theme. Our theme this year is exploring the human condition. And this is the first of many platform talks that will allow us to do just that. Emiel Barrett currently lives in Memphis, and he works as the Senior Director of Performance and Organizational Development for the NBA team, the Memphis Grizzlies. He lived in St. Louis during his last few years of service to the U.S. Navy, and he retired during his time here. He has a doctorate degree in education as well as an MBA. And all of that's listed in your program, and that's pretty darn impressive, I think. But more importantly, he's a human being. And like many of us, he has and holds many identities, and he has lived a rich and varied life. He is here to talk about how preconceived ideas about someone's credentials, the way that we speak, how they look, and what meaning we each apply to those things impacts how we evaluate people, whether we are conscious of that or not. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Emiel Barrett.
Hi. The boring stuff is out the way. In 1988, my parents and I moved to New York City. We moved from Jamaica to Jamaica, Queens. Oddly enough, the entire neighborhood was filled with West Indian people. Food was still the same. Music was still the same. Only difference was school. In school, the kids tease me. I have a strong accent. They never understand me. Miss Fitzgerald, she said, Emiel, if you want to be accepted, you have to sound American. We never know what that means. We're looking at a dictionary, no definition. It's all right. She said, you have to sound American. You have to embody the essence of American. I said, what y'all talk about? My parents live here and pay taxes. There's something that's called effective effort. When I was younger, I didn't understand what that definition was. I had no clue what effort even was. I knew that I said I would try. I would try my best. I would try to be different. I would try to be better. I was just trying not to be teased anymore because kids are cruel. You were kids before. Were you cruel kids? Oh, just me? Okay. So I leaned into MTV, BET, The Box, which is a video music box. Anyway. But I imitated art. I imitated the people that I lived next to, all the kids that spoke that language. So what I came up with was this language around New York Street. I was leaning in. I was like, I'm a rapper. I had all the things. I had the chains and stuff. I had it all. I was like, yeah, this is it. So I was like, yo, when it's time to get a slice of pizza, I'm like, yo, let's get a slice, kid. Everybody was kid. Everybody was son. Just the language, it felt good. So I leaned deep into it. But I knew that I know how to make connections, so I leaned even further into the language, into the ideology of being someone else. My teacher told me that I was so good at making connections with people that I should be able to do this for the rest of my life. And I was like, I don't know what are you talking about? Do what? I joined the Navy at 17 years old, against my mother's will. But she had to sign off on it because I was 17 years old. So apparently she had, some will for me going away from home. So I'm in the Navy and I'm excited, but I brought all my New York with me. You know what I'm talking about? I packed it in a bag, I dragged it along with me, and I was in Corpus Christi, Texas. You heard of it? Oh, I didn't. They had to point at, they were like, this is where we are. I was like, that's Mexico. That's not what this is. I had a good time, though. I had a great time. Matter of fact, I remember this vividly. Every hour on the hour, Return of the Mac was playing on the radio. Anyway, terrible song, but whatever. It played every hour on loop. So I brought all my Jay-Z, my Nas, my Biggie Smalls. I brought everybody with me. And a good friend of mine, now a good friend of mine from Philadelphia, said, if you're going to be successful, you got to temper that down. You know what I'm talking about, right? Temper that. That. Hey, yo, kid, what's up? Yo, what's for dinner tonight? Here we go and kick it. It was all my walk. I did all of that. I leaned into it. He said, no, you want to be successful, you got to get rid of that. Back to the drawing board. I was watching reruns of Phil Donahue. I must say that that's probably not the area that I should lean into, right? Didn't serve me, not well. But I leaned into other people that were really good at speaking well to be understood. It took years of getting put on stage, getting put in platforms where I had to present information to others, but I couldn't present it the way that my language was because I wasn't understood. They didn't understand the vernacular. Yeah, there was connections at some point, but for most people, I don't know if you realize this, but a lot of the military in those days, and in those days I mean like the early 90s, it was a lot of people from Texas and Florida. They spoke different. They had a little twang, but they spoke different. They understood different. They saw me as different. The only thing that saved me during that time was that I was vetted. I was already accepted by the Navy. So since I was already accepted, I had a way in. I was seen as safe. I was the safe black guy. Yeah, I had somewhere that I came from. I had a past, but they were unaware of that part. All they saw was if the military said he's okay with me. It didn't feel good, but since I didn't define my own success at the time, I had to lean into someone else's definition of success. So over time, I got better and better and better at language. I got more comfortable with this language. So much so when I went back home to visit my friends, you know what I'm talking about? They're like, who's this guy? Where'd he come from? You know what they called me? You wouldn't believe what they called me. You believe what they called me. Carlton. See? 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 Exactly. Terrible. So what did I do? I had to adjust my language. So when I went back home, turned it back on. Went to my family's house, turned it back on. Went back to work, turned it all off. That went on for decades. Would you imagine the emotional and mental strain on a person that has to consistently turn it on and off and on and off, depending on who they're speaking with? Talk about exhausting. The struggle of going back and forth, ping-ponging, depending on the setting that we're in. To the point where I just saw myself as like lighting, like, oh, to be feel comfortable? Oh, here's some ambient lighting. Let me make you feel safe around me. But the safety that I thought that I was receiving was actually the safety that I was giving others. I was uncomfortable making others uncomfortable. So I changed, I shifted. I allowed them to feel comfortable in my space by changing. But I've never asked anyone to change. But through the world, I realized that no one cares. Let me reframe that. It's not that no one, you care, right? Yeah, you care. Those people didn't care. They just knew that, well, when Emil comes around, he's good. I ended up being in so many rooms that I wasn't even invited in initially. Until I sounded different. Then it was, come on in. You mind giving this talk? Hey, do you mind sharing your perspective? Hey, these folks, they want to really hear from you. But don't say that thing. Don't do that. Do you have a suit? I hate suits. You too? Okay. In all, I would say that I did my presentation. Let me just take this off. I want you to see my face. But by the way, I do like hats. I love a good hat. I have dozens of hats, and I wear hats all the time. But right now with the light, and I'm like, you can't even see me, and I want to see you too. All I wanted to do was be American. That's it. All I wanted to do was I wanted to be accepted into the space where I lived and pay taxes. But I lived. That's what I wanted to be. But it was unfortunate because there was no guidelines, no roadmap. After I got my citizenship in Laredo, Texas. Now, here's the weird thing. I digress. Give me a second. I'm going to get back to my point. So I drove down in a Kia Sportage when they first came out. I rented a Kia Sportage. I went down to Laredo, Texas. The Kia Sportage is not really that important, but it's cool. It was a cool car. Anyway, that was before the hamsters started dancing them. But I drove this thing down, and I swore in Spanish. I don't know Spanish. Not at all. As a matter of fact, when they said, everyone rise, I had to just watch and follow the leaders because I didn't know what to do. And then they say, raise your right hand. I was like, well, everyone's raising their right hand, so I'll do that too. Anyway, so I swore in. Anyway, I digress. Not sure what that point was, but it was interesting that happened all during this time when I was trying just to be American. That's it. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be valued. But I couldn't be valued just by being me. And that was unfortunate because I realized that I'm not alone in that space. There's so many more of us, even in this room, that want to be seen and valued for you. But at times, you probably felt the need to switch, to code switch, to change your language, your posture, your behavior, your attitudes, to temper your beliefs, to make someone else comfortable. What is it in your life right now that you're doing that's exhausting you to make someone else feel at ease? There's something. When we show up, the words we use, are we giving hugs, high fives, fist bumps, elbow bumps? What is it that you're adjusting in real time? To do this in real time takes actual effort. It takes consideration. It takes remembering. Does this person prefer a fist bump or a high five? Does this person prefer wagwan or what up, yo? But what do you need? Have you told them? Have you shared? Are you open to sharing? I keep my notes up here to keep me on track because otherwise I'll tell a whole bunch of stories and we'll never finish. Part of this, the path to success that they being the people that we know, love, care for the most, the people that we revere, they tell us is to keep our head down, work hard, we're going to get recognized, keep pushing forward, just know that there's a goal at the end. Go to school, they said. Get a degree, they said. Get on your knees and pray about it, they said. All for what? To be overlooked, not be seen. Because we lean into those that we say that they're bringing their authentic self to the space. But are you truly able to bring your authentic self everywhere you go? in the workplace, even with the Grizzlies, they say, let's tell people to be authentic. So I wrote a memo about being authentic. I put an asterisk next to it. So when they asked me, what's the asterisk for? I said, well, we don't really want all of you. There's some you can leave at home. Don't put it in the car, not the backpack. Just because, am I palatable for everyone? Probably not. And not that I'm rude or degrading or anything, but everything isn't for everyone. So I can be authentic with an asterisk. I can be me-ish, right? Because you can be you-ish. Because there's some of you that's, cool to other people. Thank you, I appreciate that. What I'm saying is understanding the depth of you is essential for our next, for your next. All of this that we're going through when we're shifting our language, shifting our behavior, shifting who we are in different spaces and navigating those different spaces, the other side of that is the bias of others. The bias of us. We got it. You have it, right? I got bias. You got bias? Yeah. We tuck it away a little bit at times, but that comes out. As a matter of fact, at times we mask it. We call it something different. What's the word we call it? Preference. I know, huh? That just hit deep. I was like, man, I just said that. I had preference. It's preference. I was in Texas a few months ago, and some of my bias creeped out. So I get out the airport, and I have my little carry-on bag with me, and I'm looking for an Uber. So I'm going down the list, and would you believe they have pickup trucks? I know. I was like, of course they have pickup trucks. Texas. Good job, Texas. So then, out of my curiosity, I order it. Boop, I want to see. And the guy picks me up with a cowboy hat on. I was like, I knew it. All my biases are coming true. But he was a very nice gentleman. Anyway, we have them. And as light as that is with the pickup truck, there's others that we're holding on to. I was doing a job interview a few weeks ago, and I'm sitting across the panel, which I dislike panels, but anyway, it's just whatever. It was part of the process. I'm sitting across from the person, and at the end of their talk, we were deliberating about what's going to happen, what do we think, and they said, the first person, I really like how they spoke. I just felt them. And I was like, how did they speak? I was confused. What are you talking about? Like, they were just so clear. I said, well, they were all clear. What was it that they said? And they couldn't really explain that. So then I turned, because I have a little petty in me. Y'all got it too? Yeah, I got it. I left mine in the car, but I still have it. So I looked at the job description, and nowhere in there was that a criteria at all. What we're looking for is going to how people make us feel versus the traditional requirements of what's expected. How many times have we overlooked someone because of how they made us feel? I wasn't comfortable with them. So therefore, I didn't give them the opportunity to really show us what they could possibly do here with us. Before we continue, I want us to think about 3 questions. Now, you don't have to answer them right now. But as we navigate this world that we're living in, again, this is for your consideration. As we navigate this world, ask yourselves, what is it that I truly want? What is it that I truly want? The second question is, what makes that important to me? Now, this is a hard question. I'm not asking you to dig deep into your logic. What makes it important to me? And then focus in on, I love that ringtone, focus in on what am I willing or unwilling to do to achieve that? That last question is going to get you to action. That last question is also going to show you your boundaries. What do you truly want? What makes that important to me? And what are you willing or unwilling to do to get it? When we think about navigating the space of others while they're code switching in our presence, while you look, bless you, while you're looking at as they navigate the space of understanding their implicit bias, how can you contribute to them feeling a sense of comfort and welcome into your space? This is essential for that person's development and for their next. In the work that I do, I focus, the title's weird. It is. It's like this long thing that doesn't fit on a business card and no one cares about what that means. What I truly do is focus on human development and behaviors in organizations. I focus on the behaviors. Yes, there's structures, there's things in place to create safety and protections. Yes, we need that. But how you do that is important. And as human beings, how we connect with one another, relationships, I would argue, build them before you need them, because I need to know you. I don't want to know your title. That's what you do for a living. Not what I do. That's what pays your bills. You can pay my bills if you'd like, but it doesn't pay mine. But the reality behind that is, let's focus on the development and the connection of the person. The result will take care of itself. One of my pins is probably hard to see because the light and it's small, but it says, what if? What if is what I tend to lean into most days, and that gives me the possibilities of what I don't know yet. So what if I approach this situation a little bit different? What if I listened intently? What if I gave the person the benefit of the doubt without first doubting them? Let me say that another way. We are often doubted before getting the benefit of the doubt. If we lean in with curiosity, understanding, we can then leverage the relationship in a way the person feels safe enough to do their best, to be their best. We only get there through grace. We only get there through grace. We're not the best. I love these ringtones. I need to adapt some of this in mine. Mine is just silent right now. It's weird. Like, no. I need mine to go, like, that's what I'm talking about. No, I'm just teasing. I appreciate y'all. There's a book, and I think the title is like, It Didn't Start With Us. I'm not saying read or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, this title stuck with me because I realized that all of us are here in this present space, but all of this stuff is still there. And in the book, I took out something from it, and it said, I want to read this to you. It said, the past is not the past if the past is still in our present. I screenshot that, and I sent it to my mom. And she said, what does this mean? I was like, we got to talk. There's a lot of stuff to unpack here. I sent it to my ex-wife, and I sent it to my daughter. I think it's important that we have these conversations, because all this stuff, and you can define stuff, there's a myriad of things that go underneath it. As you define what those things are, we have to discuss them, because it shows up not just in us, but how we partner with others and how we contribute to others' lives. Sometimes contribution isn't a positive thing. What we're contributing to people may be harmful. We don't know that because we say, I'm just being authentic. And that's the asterisk. Leave that authenticity at home if we're not positively contributing to someone's betterment. That's all we're asking. When I was younger, my mom used to say that I had to act right. Am I the only one that heard that? No? Or you used to say to the children, okay. So it's the other way then. You told someone else that, act right. Have you thought about what that meant? How to act right? We just say act right. It was a conversation. She would kneel down, look me in my eyes, grab my arms, squeeze them a little bit. She knew me. She knew me well. And she would say, Emiel, you better act right, because we're about to go out here into the store, and they gave me a list of things that I should not do. Yes. All the things that I should not do. Not the behaviors that I should do, like not the stuff that I should lean into. Now, let me pause for a second. I'm sorry, I should not be shooting on you right now, but here's some things that we should do. When she said we had to act right, it took me many years to navigate through that and to understand what that means. I love art. I love artists in a myriad of ways. So it doesn't matter what your platform is, I appreciate you for what you do. I am not an artist. I can't sing a note. I was told I sound like Barrett at times. You don't believe me? Okay. I can't draw, not a straight line, not my thing. But I appreciate art and artists, those who create. Now, yes, in our own rights, yes, we are all artists in what we do, but I appreciate those who can create life out of nothing, out of their imagination. Appreciation is what I lean into when I think about acting right. Now, there's a scale, and the scale is appreciation at the top, it goes into acceptance, it goes into tolerance, and all the way down to repulsion. Now, I don't know about you, I don't know anyone that I repulse. That's a deep feeling I don't want to hold on to, not even close. But I hold most of the people that's close to me in my life in appreciation and acceptance. I hold no one in tolerance. Because if I have to tolerate you, then you don't belong in my life. But I also have to understand why this feeling is coming above me. Why do I tolerate? And why can't I move them up into the space of acceptance and appreciation? But for my life, appreciation is something that I lean into. Community is what we create. Community is what we build. You are a community. And for the good work that you're doing for the community, you form your own bonds within. Can we extend that? There are times where we form such tight communities, we unintentionally exclude others from entrance. It's not something that we just want to do, but we just so tight. And we draw lines of what this community looks like and what it feels like to enter, where others can't get in. We make the cost of entry so high where it feels uncomfortable to even be a part of. I would argue that to be a part of the community, we cannot be apart from the community. So how do you create an inclusive community where others feel you, they see you, and you see them, and you appreciate them? Now, the last one, I'm gonna lean for a little bit. This last one is challenging. It's trust. How hard is it for you to trust? Okay, reframed. How easy is it for you to trust? I see some head nods. This is fantastic because I need a ride to Memphis later. Oh, not that we're not there yet? That's right. I got you. We'll definitely go there. Fantastic food, by the way. To get there, I'm going to walk down here for a second. I'm going to hold on because I don't want to fall, because it would not be a good look at all. Before you get to trust, there's a foundation. This foundation, this first step, is called being familiar. I see you. I know of you. I see you at times, from time to time again, whether it's in a grocery store, here. I may not know your name, may not know much about you, but I know that we share some sort of space and community. So therefore, I'm familiar with you, enough to probably even know a little bit about you through other people. That's fair? Like real ground level. And there's people that we know in our lives that we're real familiar with. Once you have this established, I mean, these are the people that you even see their T-shirts and stuff. They say things we agree with, like, "Oh, that's cool," or the pins that they. Second step. This is comfort. We go a little bit deeper than surface. We know some more things about each other. Maybe each other's names. Maybe save their birthday in our phones, because we'll never remember it. We'll put them on Facebook, wish them HBD. We don't write it out all the way out. We ain't that cool. I know you-ish. If you come to the house, please stay on the couch, don't move. I'll give you something to drink. Don't walk around. No. I want to invite you into my kitchen because I don't want you to judge me because my dishes aren't washed. That's comfort. Comfort is even deeper. I would even say comfort is if you ask me for a ride to the airport, I'll call you an Uber. I definitely won't pick you up. That's what rideshare is for. But then you get to the top, right? You get all the way. I see. My math is off. Get to the top. Then there's trust. These are the people that it feels like home when you're with them. That you can be truly genuine with them. These are the folks that's real familial, like they're now part of your extended family that you weren't born with or born into. These are the folks that maybe even babysit your dogs or cats or your support snake. It's a thing, I've seen it, it's odd. But to build trust takes effective effort, much like the effective effort that it took me to learn how to speak in a way that I was being understood. It takes that tenacious engagement that I want to do this. I want to impart upon this person's life. I want to be in this person's life. But it also takes feedback that I'm giving myself. How am I doing with this person? Do they know? Am I clear? What else can I do to engage in this space where the person feels warm around me because I'm responsible for this part of the relationship? And then together they can create a strategy to what we can do to continue to be close. When I told my mom that that's what acting right meant to me, she said, "No, that's not what it means." I was like, "Mom, I was trying to be like philosophical." She was like, "It doesn't matter, I just want you to behave." Like, Anyway, besides the weird behavior thing that she wanted me to do, this was my call to action. Have you decided on your call to action to do something different next time? To allow the people around you, whether they're in your circle, in your community or not, to feel welcome. There's all kinds of books that you can read, podcasts you can listen to. It's a bunch of stuff. But what work are you doing? What are you willing to do for the next? You know, in the workplace, you talk about having skill versus will. I think we all have that skill. We've done it. As you're sitting next to your neighbor, we've done it. We're doing it. Are you okay with extending that same grace to others? If you've identified what's holding you back, what action have we taken to move through that? Bless you. So we're not ignoring it. We can't ignore it. So before I close, there's a couple things. I want us to lean into our differences. I think we all understand differences enough to understand what this means. But here's the thing. When I meet someone, the first thing that they want to know is like, what do I do for work? Which is weird because if I won the lottery, I wouldn't work, so it doesn't matter what I do for work right now. Like, my hope is that I get wealthy enough so that we can all stop working. But they ask these questions because they want to size me up for safety, because they want to know where I fall within respect that they're going to give me. So they ask about, like, oh, so where'd you go to school? Like, it doesn't matter. I had to pay for it. Like, why does that part matter? But when you think about this space that we're in with human connection, I would say the difference here is that I didn't grow up like you, so therefore we have something to talk to. It's easy to walk up and say like, oh, I was in the military. Oh my gosh, me too. Oh, I work for the basketball team. Like, oh my gosh, I love basketball. And we love these similarities, and it's so easy to connect over similarities, but what about the differences? That's what really connects us. I have a good friend of mine. He is a hot air balloon pilot. I know. And I love talking to him because I have all the questions. He's probably like, Emiel, stop. No more questions. I'm like, no, but how did you get into this? There's literally like, no way I can just like, hey, I want to be a hot air balloon pilot. And the guidance counselor's like, but why? So this part, this difference is lean into what you currently don't know. And the conversations are so much deeper. They're so much better when you do this. Second thing, control what you own, which means control you, your responses. There's a space of control, influence, and no control. They wrote about it in another book that's like way too long for that to come out of it. But if there's an area of control, even if you have 10% of it, control that part. If you can't control it, influence it. If you can't influence it, know who can influence it. But the problem is, and I know I'm talking fast because the New York is in me right now, there's a space of no control. You know what the space is. I'm going to tell you why you know what the space is, because you spend a lot of time in it. It's also the area of concern. You know what really bothers me? Then you think, well, do I have control or influence? No? Oh, then I don't have to care about that. Right? There's an area of no control that we spend a lot of time in. Assess those areas as we navigate this world. You're going to win your time back. I cannot control the vernacular of someone else. Why do I care what they sound like? Why am I only hiring the people that sound like me? Why am I only inviting those people into my space? What about the differences that we can gift each other? There's so much richness that we're overlooking because we're looking for similarities. We're looking for comfort. We don't want to feel uncomfortable. All I ask for your consideration. Thank you for your time, your energy, your effort, your care. I truly appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful day.
Emiel, you gave us so much to reflect on, both individually, but also as a community. And I hope that each one of us takes your calls to action seriously and with the intention to be able to create a better space. Thank you for investing in us.